You are dead when we reach home.
The moment Marcus screamed those words across the crowded rooftop bar, he sealed his own fate. He just didn't know it yet. You're dead when we get home. 5 words that sliced through the ambient chatter of Skyline 47, one of the most exclusive rooftop bars in the city. 5 words that made Luna's blood freeze in her veins as she sat across from the man who was supposed to love her. The bartender had simply complimented her braids. That was all. A quick, innocent comment about how beautiful her natural hair looked against the city lights. Such a small thing. Such a deadly sin in Marcus's eyes. The rage that contorted his handsome face wasn't new. Luna had seen it before. In their apartment when she mentioned wanting to start her own fashion line. In the car when a male colleague called about work. In the bedroom when she wore a dress he decided was too short. But never in public. Never so raw. Never so terrifying. The elderly couple at the next table glanced over, then quickly away. The businessman at the bar pretended not to hear. The hostess suddenly found something fascinating on her tablet. Nobody was going to help. Nobody ever did. For years of this. For years of walking on eggshells, of second-guessing every word, every outfit, every sketch in her design portfolio. For years of watching her vibrant, colorful dreams drain to gray as Marcus systematically cut away everyone and everything that made her who she was. Luna didn't notice the man watching from the corner booth. Not at first. Her gaze dropped to her untouched cocktail. The passion fruit martini that had seemed so appealing when she ordered it now looked like liquid poison. She couldn't drink, couldn't move, couldn't breathe past the knot of fear tightening her throat. She knew that look in Marcus's eyes. It meant consequences. It meant bruises in places her clothes would cover. It meant her sketchbooks torn apart, her fabric samples destroyed, her spirit crushed a little more. I asked you a simple question, Marcus continued, his voice dropping to that dangerous softness she dreaded even more than his shouting. When he yelled, at least she knew where the line was. When he went quiet like this, the line kept moving. What have I told you about letting other men flirt with you? He wasn't flirting. He just said what? Marcus leaned forward, his eyes burning into hers. That your hair looks beautiful? That's not flirting to you? You probably loved it. Probably been waiting all night for some man to notice you. Luna's chest tightened. There was no right answer. There never was. If she agreed, she was admitting guilt. If she disagreed, she was calling him crazy. Either path led to the same destination, pain. I'm sorry, she whispered. The words tasted like ash on her tongue. She'd said them so many times they'd lost all meaning. You're sorry. Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. You're always sorry, but you never change, do you? I give you everything. I put a roof over your head. I let you play with your little fashion designs. And this is how you repay me? Flirting with bartenders like some desperate. I wasn't flirting. The words escaped before Luna could stop them. Marcus's face went still, dangerously still. What did you say? Luna's heart hammered against her ribs. She'd broken the cardinal rule. She'd talked back, in public, where people could hear. I just meant. You just meant what? Marcus's hand shot across the table, gripping her wrist hard enough to leave marks. Go ahead, Luna. Tell me what you meant. I'm listening. Pain lanced up her arm, but Luna didn't cry out. She'd learned not to. Crying only made it worse. Drawing attention only made him angrier later, when they were alone. She didn't notice the man in the corner booth stand up. I'm going to the bathroom, Marcus announced suddenly, releasing her wrist with a shove that rattled the glasses on the table. When I get back, we're leaving. And when we get home. He let the threat hang in the air, unfinished but unmistakable. Luna watched him walk away, her wrist throbbing where his fingers had been. Red marks were already forming. She'd have to wear long sleeves again. In July, just like she always did. She should run. She knew that. Every rational part of her brain screamed at her to grab her purse and run for the exit. But where would she go? Marcus controlled their bank accounts. He had the keys to their apartment. He'd isolated her from her sister Zara over a year ago, convincing Luna that Zara was toxic and jealous of their relationship. She had nowhere to turn, no one to call, no escape route that wouldn't lead to something worse. "Excuse me." Luna's head snapped up. A man stood beside her table, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a tailored black suit that probably cost more than her monthly salary. His dark hair was styled with precision, his features sharp and composed. Korean, she noted, with eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. He looked like the kind of man who owned rooms, not occupied them. "I'm sorry," Luna said automatically, her voice barely above a whisper. "My boyfriend will be right back. This seat is—" "I know." The man sat down in Marcus's chair as smoothly as if he'd been invited. "That's why we need to talk quickly. He'll return in approximately 90 seconds. Panic seized Luna's chest. "Please, you don't understand. If he sees you here, he won't do anything." The man's voice was calm, measured, carrying an undercurrent of absolute certainty. "Not tonight. Not ever again if you don't want him to." Luna stared at him. "Who are you?" "My name is Miho Park. I've been watching you for the past hour, and I've seen enough." "Watching me?" Fear of a different kind crept into Luna's voice. "Why?" "Because everyone else in this bar has been working very hard to ignore what's happening at your table." Miho's dark eyes held hers with an intensity that should have been uncomfortable but somehow wasn't. "I don't ignore things like this. Not anymore." Something about the way he said it, so matter-of-fact, so familiar with the pattern, made Luna's throat tighten. "I'm fine," she said automatically. It was what she always said, what she'd been trained to say, to her sister Zara before Marcus made her cut contact, to her former design professor who'd asked about the bruises on her arms, to the neighbor who once asked about the shouting through the walls. "You're not fine," Miho said simply, "and it will get worse. You know this already." She did. God help her, she did. Miho reached into his jacket and placed a business card on the table. Thick, expensive paper with just a name, 2 phone numbers, and an address embossed in silver. "The first number is for my design studio. The second is for emergencies." Luna blinked. "Design studio?" "My legitimate business." A ghost of a smile crossed Miho's face. "Among others." "I don't understand. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Miho was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was softer. "My sister was engaged to a man like your boyfriend once. By the time I realized how bad it had gotten, it was almost too late." His expression hardened. "I learned something from that experience. I learned that sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply refuse to look away." Tears pricked at Luna's eyes. She blinked them back furiously. "He's coming back," she whispered, catching Marcus's reflection in the mirrored wall behind Miho. "Please, you have to go. Let him see me." "What?" "Let him see me." Miho didn't move, didn't even glance in Marcus's direction. "The question is, do you want help? Or do you want to keep pretending this is love?" The words hit Luna like a physical blow. Before she could answer, Marcus was there, his face flushing dark with rage as he registered the stranger sitting in his seat. "What the hell is this?" Marcus demanded. "Who are you?" Miho stood slowly, gracefully, buttoning his suit jacket with an elegant flick of his wrist. He was taller than Marcus by several inches, broader through the shoulders. When he turned to face him, Luna saw Marcus take an instinctive step back. "I'm someone who overheard you threatening this woman," Miho said, his voice calm but edged with steel. "I thought I should introduce myself. This is none of your business." Marcus's hands curled into fists. "Luna, get your things. We're leaving." Luna started to rise. Pure instinct, conditioned obedience. But Miho's next words froze her in place. "She's not going anywhere with you tonight." The rooftop bar had gone silent. Other patrons were watching openly now, the pretense of ignoring the situation abandoned. Luna felt the weight of their stares, the pressure of the moment crushing her chest. Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. Listen, buddy. I don't know who you think you are. Miho Park, Miho repeated, as if Marcus might have missed it the first time. The name hung in the air. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. The anger drained away, replaced by something that looked disturbingly like recognition. Then fear. Park. Marcus's voice wavered. As in, yes. Miho's expression remained unchanged. That park. Luna had no idea what they were talking about. The name meant nothing to her, but it clearly meant something to Marcus. Something significant enough that the color had drained from his face. I didn't know, Marcus said quickly, his tone suddenly placating. I didn't realize you were… Luna is my girlfriend. This is just a private matter between us. Nothing you said tonight was private. Miho gestured to the bar around them. Everyone here heard you threaten her, including me, and I've decided I don't like it. Look, I apologize if I was out of line. Marcus's entire demeanor had transformed, his earlier rage replaced by desperate damage control. But Luna and I have been together for 4 years. This is just a misunderstanding. Miho turned to Luna, the full weight of his attention falling on her like a spotlight. Is that true? Is this a misunderstanding? Every eye on the rooftop was on her now. Luna felt the pressure of their stares, the silent judgment, the expectation that she would do what women always did. Smooth things over, make excuses, protect the man who never protected her. She looked at Marcus, the man she'd spent 4 years trying to please, trying to love, trying not to anger. Then she looked at Miho, this stranger who had no reason to defend her but was doing it anyway. Subscribe now to see what happens next in Luna's story. Stories like this happen every day, and many don't end well. If you don't subscribe, at least leave a comment explaining why you're okay with missing these important life lessons. No, Luna whispered. What? Marcus's face contorted with disbelief. No. She said it louder this time, her voice finding strength she didn't know she still possessed. It's not a misunderstanding. I don't want to go home with you tonight. You don't mean that. Marcus stepped toward her. You're confused. This guy is confusing you. I think the lady was clear. Miho's voice cut through Marcus's protests like a blade. She's not leaving with you. Like hell. Marcus reached for Luna's arm. He didn't get close. Miho moved faster than Luna would have thought possible. One moment he was standing beside the table. The next, he had Marcus's wrist locked in his grip, bending it at an angle that made Marcus gasp in pain. If you touch her, Miho said, his voice so low Luna barely heard it, you will lose that hand. Do we understand each other? Marcus nodded frantically, his face pale with pain. Miho released him with a slight push that sent Marcus stumbling backward. As if summoned from thin air, 2 men in dark suits materialized from somewhere in the bar. They flanked Marcus, their expressions blank, their presence unmistakably threatening. Escort Mr. Miho glanced at Luna with a questioning look. Thompson, she supplied weakly. Escort Mr. Thompson out, Miho finished. Make sure he understands that he's not welcome at any establishment I have an interest in, which in this city is most of them. The men nodded. They didn't grab Marcus. They didn't need to. Their mere presence was enough to get him moving toward the exit. Marcus shot Luna a look over his shoulder. Part fury, part betrayal, wholly menacing. This isn't over, he called out. You hear me, Luna? This isn't. One of the suited men leaned close and said something too low for Luna to hear. Marcus went quiet, and then he was gone. Luna sat frozen, her whole body trembling. It had happened so fast. One moment she'd been preparing for the worst night of her life. The next, Marcus was being escorted out by men who looked like they ate people like him for breakfast. Relief flooded through her, so intense it felt like pain. Her lungs burned as she finally remembered to breathe. Miho returned to stand beside her table. He didn't crowd her space. You should drink something, he said gently. You've gone pale. I don't. Luna's hands were shaking so badly she couldn't lift her glass. I don't understand what just happened. You stood up for yourself, Miho said simply, possibly for the first time in a long while. Tears spilled down Luna's cheeks. She didn't bother wiping them away. But who are you? She looked at him, really looked. What did you say your name was again? Miho Park. And that means something? Marcus knew that name. Marcus is a small, insecure man who watches too many crime dramas and understands just enough about this city's power structure to be afraid of the right people. Are you? Luna couldn't quite bring herself to finish the sentence. A criminal? Miho's lips curved slightly. That depends entirely on who you ask. But yes, I suppose by some definitions, I am. She should have been terrified, should have grabbed her purse and run for the exit. Instead, she asked, "Why did you help me?" I told you. My sister. That's not the whole reason. Miho studied her for a long moment. No, he admitted quietly. It's not. Then what? When I saw you sitting here, trying so hard to be small, to disappear, I saw someone who deserved better. Someone who deserved to be protected, not threatened. He paused. And I wanted to be the one to protect you. Luna's breath caught. That probably sounds antiquated, Miho continued. I'm aware that modern women don't need men to rescue them. But sometimes, Luna interrupted softly, it's nice to not have to be strong alone. Their eyes met across the space between them. Something unspoken passed between them, an understanding that went beyond words. What happens now? Luna asked, her voice trembling. I don't know where to go. We live together. All my things are at his apartment. My car, my designs, everything. Breathe, Miho said gently. One problem at a time. He pulled out his phone and made a brief call. The conversation was in Korean, rapid and authoritative, ending with what sounded like firm instructions. In 2 hours, he told Luna, all of your belongings will be packed and removed from that apartment. They'll be taken to a secure location until you decide where you want them delivered. Your car will also be retrieved. I can't. That's too much. I can't ask you to. You didn't ask. I offered. Luna stared at him, this stranger who had just upended her entire life in the space of 10 minutes. Do you have someone you can call? Miho asked. Someone you trust? Luna thought of Zara. Her sister, the one Marcus had convinced her was toxic and jealous. The one she hadn't spoken to in over a year. My sister, she said quietly. But I don't know if she'll even answer. I said terrible things to her. Marcus made me believe. Call her. It's late. It's almost midnight. Real friends, real family. Don't care about the hour when someone needs help. With trembling fingers, Luna pulled out her phone and found Zara's number. She'd never deleted it, despite Marcus's demands. Some small part of her had always hoped. The phone rang once, twice. Then, Luna? Oh my God, Luna. Is that you? Fresh tears flooded Luna's eyes at the sound of her sister's voice. Zara, I need help. I'm so sorry for everything. I'm so sorry. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm coming to get you right now. Skyline 47. The rooftop bar on. I know where it is. I'm 15 minutes away. Don't move. Don't you dare move. The line went dead. Luna looked at Miho through blurry eyes. She's coming. Good. He nodded toward the card still lying on the table. Keep that. The second number, use it if he contacts you. Use it if he shows up at your work, your sister's place, anywhere. Use it if you feel unsafe for any reason. And someone will handle it in whatever way is necessary to ensure your safety. Luna picked up the card. She should refuse it. Should tell this dangerous, mysterious stranger that she could handle her own problems. But she couldn't. Not alone. And they both knew it. There's something else, Miho said, his tone shifting slightly. Something I should tell you. What? When I saw you tonight, sitting across from that man, trying to make yourself invisible. He paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. I recognized something, not just the fear. I've seen that before. But you, something about you felt familiar. We've never met, Luna said, confused. No, but I think perhaps we were meant to. It was a strange thing to say. Romantic, maybe, if the circumstances were different. But there was no flirtation in his tone. Just a simple statement of something he believed to be true. I'm about to reveal how Miho helps Luna in a way no one helped me. Subscribe now because I can't guarantee this content will remain free. Too many stories go untold. If you're still scrolling without subscribing, please comment below and explain to our community why these stories aren't worth your support. Miho checked his watch. Your sister will be here soon. I'll wait with you until she arrives. You don't have to. I know. They moved toward the bar's entrance, away from the curious stares of other patrons who were still whispering about what they'd witnessed. Luna clutched her purse and Miho's business card like lifelines. 12 minutes later, Zara burst through the door like a hurricane, braids flying, eyes blazing with protective fury. She took one look at Luna's tear-stained face and pulled her into a crushing embrace. I'm going to kill him, Zara muttered against Luna's hair. I swear to God, I'm going to absolutely murder him. No need, Miho said calmly from beside them. I believe that's been handled. Zara pulled back, noticing him for the first time. Her eyes widened. Holy, you're Miho Park. You know him? Luna asked, surprised. Of him, Zara corrected, her expression caught between awe and wariness. My firm handled some contracts for one of his companies last year. Half the high-rises downtown have Park Investment Group plaques in their lobbies. That's an exaggeration, Miho said, his face impassive. It's closer to a third. He said it so deadpan that Luna almost laughed. Almost. Miho turned to Zara. Take care of her. Then to Luna. What you did tonight took courage. Remember that. He held her gaze for a long moment. Something passed between them. A connection, a promise, something unfinished. And then he was gone, disappearing back into the bar like smoke. Zara stared after him, then turned to Luna with wide eyes. Okay, we're going to need about 6 bottles of wine and the entire night, because you're going to tell me every single detail of whatever the hell just happened. Luna let herself be led toward the exit. As they stepped out into the warm night air, she caught one last glimpse of Miho through the window. He'd returned to his corner booth, sitting alone again, his expression unreadable. She wondered what kind of man sat alone at exclusive rooftop bars on Saturday nights. What kind of man stepped into a stranger's nightmare without hesitation? What kind of man he really was, and whether she would ever see him again. The next 2 weeks existed in fragments. Shattered pieces of a life Luna was trying desperately to reassemble. She moved into Zara's spare bedroom, surrounded by boxes that appeared exactly as Miho had promised. Every belonging she owned, neatly packed, carefully transported, nothing damaged. Her car materialized in Zara's driveway the next morning, keys tucked in an envelope with no return address. But it was the last box that broke her. Her design materials, fabric samples she'd collected over years, sketchbooks filled with dreams Marcus had dismissed as childish hobbies, her grandmother's vintage sewing machine that she'd hidden in the back of their closet because Marcus complained the sound annoyed him. All of it, recovered, protected, delivered to her like precious cargo. Luna sat on Zara's floor surrounded by silk and cotton and dreams she'd forgotten she had, and wept until she couldn't breathe. He didn't destroy them, she whispered to Zara. I was so sure he would have destroyed them by now. He didn't get the chance. Zara handed her a tissue. Whoever Miho sent got there first. Luna traced her fingers over a sketch she'd drawn 3 years ago, a flowing evening gown in deep emerald. She'd designed it for herself, for the woman she'd wanted to become. The woman Marcus had slowly erased. She barely recognized that woman anymore. But maybe, just maybe, she could find her again. I'm revealing this story because too many people suffer in silence while others look away. If this message resonated with you, subscribe so you don't miss stories that might change someone's life. And if you're choosing not to engage, I genuinely want to know. Comment below and tell this community why stories about survival and transformation aren't worth your time. Because someone watching might be living this right now. Marcus didn't accept defeat quietly. Luna hadn't expected him to. Day 3, 26 text messages. They started with apologies dripping with false sweetness. Baby, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please come home. We can work this out. By message 15, the mask slipped. You're making a huge mistake. You're nothing without me. No one else will ever want you. By message 26. You think that Korean bastard can protect you? You think I'm scared of him? I'll find you, Luna. We're not done. She blocked his number. Day 5, he created a new number. More messages. More threats wrapped in declarations of love. She blocked that one too. Day 7. Marcus appeared at the marketing firm where Luna worked as an administrative assistant. The job Marcus had insisted she take instead of pursuing design. The job that paid the bills while her dreams collected dust. She was at her desk when the receptionist called up. There's a Marcus Thompson here to see you. He says he's your boyfriend and it's urgent. Luna's blood turned to ice. Don't let him up. Please. Call security. But before the receptionist could respond, Luna heard shouting through the phone. Marcus's voice, raised and angry, demanding to be let through. Then silence. Ma'am. The receptionist sounded shaken. Two men they escorted him out. I don't know who they were. They just appeared and... Luna's hands trembled as she hung up the phone. She pulled out the business card she'd kept in her wallet since that night and stared at the second number. She didn't have to call. Somehow, Miho already knew. Day 10. A voicemail from Marcus's mother. A woman Luna had met exactly twice, both times enduring thinly veiled criticism about her hair, her clothes, her urban background. Luna, this is Patricia Thompson. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but my son is heartbroken. He's barely eating. He's not sleeping. You owe him an explanation after 4 years together. Whatever lies that man told you about Marcus, they're not true. My son would never. Luna deleted the voicemail before it finished. That evening, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Miss Luna. A woman's voice, professional and calm. I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Park. The Thompson family has been contacted and informed that any further attempts to reach you will have consequences. You shouldn't receive any more messages from that source. Thank you. Mr. Park also wanted me to relay a message. He said, focus on healing. The rest is handled. The line went dead. Luna stared at her phone for a long time. Who was this man? What kind of power did he wield that he could make problems disappear with a phone call? And why? Did he care so much about a stranger he'd met for barely 15 minutes? Day 14, silence. No texts, no calls, no unexpected appearances. Marcus had finally completely stopped. Luna slept through the entire night for the first time in 4 years. 3 weeks after the rooftop bar, Luna called the first number on Miho's card. Her heart pounded as it rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Park Design Studio. How may I direct your call? I'd like to speak with Miho Park, please. My name is Luna. Pause. Then, one moment, Miss Luna. Classical music played softly. Luna paced Zara's living room, suddenly questioning every decision that had led to this moment. What was she doing? What did she even want to say? Luna. His voice. Deep, calm, carrying that same quiet authority she remembered. Hi. I hope this is okay. That I called, I've been hoping you would. Something fluttered in Luna's chest. You have. How are you? Such a simple question. But the way he asked it, like he genuinely wanted to know, like her answer mattered, made Luna's eyes sting. Better, she said honestly. Still figuring things out, but better. I'm glad. Silence stretched between them, comfortable somehow, like they'd known each other longer than one chaotic night. I wanted to thank you, Luna finally said, for everything. My things, my car, the protection. I don't know how to repay you. There's nothing to repay. There must be something. Another pause. Then, have dinner with me. Luna's breath caught. Not tonight, Miho continued. Not even this week if you're not ready. But soon, when you feel strong enough. I'd like to see you again, Luna. I'd like to learn who you are when you're not afraid. Subscribe now to see what happens next in Luna's story. Stories like this happen every day, and many don't end well. If you don't subscribe, at least leave a comment explaining why you're okay with missing these important life lessons. Yes, Luna whispered. I'd like that too. He sent a car for her on a Saturday evening. Zara had spent 3 hours helping Luna get ready, fussing over her natural curls, debating between dresses, offering unsolicited opinions about dating powerful men. Just be careful, Zara said as Luna headed for the door. Men like Miho Park don't do anything without a reason. Make sure you know what his reason is. Maybe his reason is just me. Maybe. Zara hugged her tight. But keep your eyes open. And text me every hour or I'm calling the police. The police won't help if it's Miho Park, Luna said, echoing what the driver had told her that first night. Then I'll call the FBI, the CIA, the damn Avengers if I have to. Luna laughed. Really laughed. For the first time in weeks. The car wound through the city, then beyond it, climbing into hills where houses became estates and estates became kingdoms. When they pulled through iron gates and up a long drive lined with ancient trees, Luna's breath caught. The house at the end was stunning. Not flashy modern wealth, but old-world elegance. Stone walls, tall windows, gardens that stretched toward the horizon. Miho waited at the entrance. He looked different than she remembered, less guarded. He wore dark slacks and a charcoal sweater, no suit jacket, no armor of formality. When he smiled at her, it reached his eyes. You came, he said. You doubted I would? Hoped you would. Doubted you should. He offered his arm and led her through the house, beautiful, tasteful, clearly expensive, to a terrace overlooking the valley. The city glittered below like scattered diamonds. A table was set for two, candles already lit, wine already poured. No restaurant tonight? Luna asked. I thought privacy might be appreciated. Our last public meal together was eventful. That wasn't your fault, wasn't it? Miho pulled out her chair. I did threaten your ex-boyfriend in front of 50 witnesses. He deserved it. He did. Miho took his seat across from her. But that doesn't mean there won't be consequences. For him, certainly, but possibly for you as well. What kind of consequences? People talk. They'll wonder who you are, why I intervened. Some will assume you're connected to my family now, under my protection. He paused. Which I suppose you are. Is that a bad thing? That depends. His dark eyes held hers. How do you feel about having your life completely upended? I think it already was. You just helped me see it. Dinner arrived, course after course of exquisite food Luna barely tasted because she was too focused on the man across from her. Miho told her about his family. 3 siblings. A mother still alive and, in his words, terrifyingly formidable. A father who died 5 years ago, leaving behind a complicated legacy. My father was old school, Miho explained. He believed in territory and violence and respect earned through fear. I prefer to think of us as businessmen with a complicated past. And now we're mostly legitimate. Real estate, investments, import and export. My design studio, a slight smile. I've spent the last decade cleaning up what my father built, trying to create something my future children won't have to hide or be ashamed of. Luna studied him. That must be lonely, carrying all of that. Something flickered in Miho's expression. Surprise, maybe, that she'd seen through to the heart of him so quickly. It has been, he admitted. Until recently, the air between them grew charged. Tell me about your designs, Miho said, shifting the conversation. Your sister mentioned you studied fashion. She told you that? I may have made some inquiries. Luna laughed despite herself. Of course you did. She told him everything. About studying at FIT, dreaming of launching her own label. About how Marcus had slowly convinced her that fashion was impractical, childish, a waste of time. About watching her creativity wither while she pushed papers at a job that made her soul ache. I kept my sketchbooks hidden, Luna confessed. Drew at night when he was asleep. It was the only thing I had left that was truly mine. Miho leaned forward. Show me. What? Your designs. I want to see them. Now? You brought them, didn't you? Luna flushed. She had, in fact, tucked her favorite sketchbook into her bag. Just in case. Just hoping. She handed it over, suddenly terrified. These pages held her soul. Dreams she'd been told were worthless, visions she'd nearly let die. Miho opened the book and went still. He turned each page slowly, carefully, with the reverence of someone who understood what he was looking at. His expression shifted from interest to admiration to something that looked almost like awe. These are extraordinary, he said finally, his voice quiet. Truly extraordinary. Tears pricked at Luna's eyes. Marcus said they were amateur. Childish. Marcus is an idiot who wouldn't recognize genius if it slapped him across the face. Miho closed the book gently. I host an emerging designers showcase every spring. 12 spots. Hundreds of applicants. I want you in it. Luna stared at him. You're not serious. I don't joke about art or business. But I'm not ready. I haven't designed anything new in years. My portfolio is outdated. Then update it. Miho slid the sketchbook back across the table. You have 4 months. Create something that shows the world who Luna really is. For months. For months to rebuild everything Marcus had torn down. I don't know if I can, Luna whispered. I do. His certainty was almost painful. No one had believed in her like this since her grandmother died. Why? Luna asked. Why do you believe in me so much? You barely know me. Miho was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. That night in the bar, when you said no to Marcus, when you stood up in front of all those people and refused to go with him, I saw something. A spark. A fire that he hadn't quite managed to extinguish. His eyes held hers. I want to see that fire burn. Luna couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't do anything but stare at this man who had crashed into her life like a meteor and set everything ablaze. I'm going to kiss you now, Miho said quietly. Unless you tell me not to. She didn't tell him not to. He rounded the table, pulled her gently to her feet, and kissed her like she was something precious. Something worth protecting. Something worth burning for. When they finally broke apart, Luna was trembling. This is insane, she whispered. I just left a 4-year relationship. I'm still putting myself back together. I'm not ready for. I know. Miho cradled her face in his hands. I'm not asking for everything at once. I'm asking for a chance. Dinner again next week. Then the week after. We go slowly. We build something real. And if Marcus will never touch you again. The steel in Miho's voice was absolute. I promise you that. Luna believed him. I'm about to reveal what happens when Marcus resurfaces. Subscribe now because I can't guarantee this content will remain free. Too many stories go untold. If you're still scrolling without subscribing, please comment below and explain to our community why these stories aren't worth your support. For months later, Luna stood backstage at the Park Design Studio's annual showcase, trying not to hyperventilate. Her collection hung on the racks behind her. 6 pieces she'd poured her soul into: bold colors, flowing silhouettes, designs that celebrated natural beauty and black femininity in ways she'd never dared attempt before. Miho had been right. Creating again had healed something inside her. Each stitch, each sketch, each late night hunched over her grandmother's sewing machine had stitched her back together too. And tonight, the world would finally see what Luna could do. 5 minutes, a production assistant called out. Luna took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking, but not from fear, from excitement, from anticipation, from the thrill of finally becoming who she was always meant to be. She didn't see Marcus slip through the backstage entrance. Didn't notice him until his hand closed around her wrist. "Hello, Luna." Her blood froze. That voice, that grip, the nightmare she'd escaped, standing right in front of her. Marcus looked terrible. Thin, unshaven, eyes red-rimmed and wild. Whatever power the park name held over him, it had apparently worn thin against 4 months of obsession. "You thought you could just leave me?" His grip tightened, sending pain shooting up her arm. "You thought that Korean bastard could just take what's mine? Let go of me." Luna's voice came out stronger than she felt. "Or what? You'll call your bodyguards?" "They're not here, Luna. I waited. I watched. I found my moment." His smile was unhinged. "Now you're going to come with me, and we're going to have a long conversation about loyalty." Fear clawed at Luna's throat. The old instincts screamed at her to comply, to placate, to survive. But she wasn't that woman anymore. "No." The word came out clear, strong, final. "What did you say?" "I said no." Luna wrenched her arm free. A move she'd practiced, a boundary she'd learned to enforce. "I'm not going anywhere with you. Not now. Not ever again. You don't get to decide that." Marcus lunged for her, and then Miho was there. He materialized from the shadows like vengeance made flesh, catching Marcus's arm mid-swing and twisting it behind his back with a sickening pop. Marcus screamed. "You were warned," Miho said, his voice terrifyingly calm. "You were given every opportunity to walk away. You chose this. I'll kill you." Marcus thrashed against Miho's hold. "I'll kill both of you." "No." Luna stepped forward, and both men went still. "You won't." She faced Marcus directly. This man who had controlled her, diminished her, nearly destroyed her. She looked into his eyes and saw him clearly for the first time. Not a monster, just a small, broken, pathetic man who couldn't stand the thought of a woman being stronger than him. "For years," Luna said quietly, "I gave you 4 years of my life, my dreams, my self-worth, my peace. You took everything, Marcus. Everything." "Luna, baby, I don't." Her voice cracked like a whip. "You don't get to call me that. You don't get to touch me. You don't even get to look at me after tonight." She stepped closer, and Marcus actually flinched. "I used to be afraid of you," Luna continued. "I used to think you were powerful. But you're not. You're nothing. And everything I'm about to accomplish, every design on that runway, every dream I'm about to live, is proof that you failed." Tears streamed down her face, but her voice never wavered. "You tried to kill who I was, and you couldn't, because I'm still here. I survived you, and I will never, ever let another woman suffer the way I suffered if I can help it." She turned to Miho. "Let him go. Luna, let him go. He's not worth it." Miho hesitated, then released Marcus with a shove that sent him sprawling. Security appeared, real security this time, official, and escorted Marcus out. He went quietly, all the fight drained from him, looking like what he truly was. A defeated man who had gambled everything and lost. When he was gone, Luna's legs gave out. Miho caught her, held her close, let her shake and cry and release 4 years of terror in the safety of his arms. "I'm so proud of you," he murmured against her hair. "So incredibly proud. I ruined my makeup. You just faced down your abuser 5 minutes before the biggest moment of your career. Makeup can be fixed." Luna laughed through her tears. "I can't believe I did that." "I can." Miho pulled back, cradling her face in his hands. "I've always believed in you." The production assistant appeared, looking frantic. "Miss Luna? We're starting in 2 minutes." "She'll be ready," Miho said, and she was. The showcase was a triumph. Critics raved. Buyers approached. Opportunities materialized. Luna walked onto that runway and introduced her collection with her head high and her heart full, wearing the emerald gown she'd designed 3 years ago, the one she'd sketched when she still dared to dream. Miho watched from the front row, and when their eyes met, Luna saw something that looked like forever. He proposed 6 months later. His grandmother's ring. A terrace overlooking the city where their story had begun. "Marry me," he said simply. "Not because I saved you. We both know you saved yourself. But because I love who you are, who you're becoming, who you'll be 50 years from now." "Yes," Luna whispered. 1,000 times yes. Subscribe now or you'll never know what happens next. I've seen people return to harmful situations because they didn't know escape was possible. If you think this story isn't worth your subscription, leave a comment telling us why you're choosing not to learn these important life lessons. They married on a spring afternoon. His traditions and hers woven together. Zara ugly crying through her entire maid of honor speech about how she'd always known Luna would end up with either a prince or a mobster, and technically Miho was both. 1 year later, Luna launched her own label, Park Luna Designs, a collaboration born from love and built on mutual respect. 2 years later, she founded a nonprofit, design workshops for survivors of domestic abuse, business training, emergency resources, a pipeline from darkness to light. The first woman she helped was named Destiny. Young, scared, fresh out of a situation too similar to Luna's own. When Luna met her at the safe house, Destiny was clutching a sketchbook to her chest like a lifeline. "I used to draw," Destiny whispered. Before him, Luna took her hand. "You'll draw again, I promise." And she did. The night of Luna's first major Fashion Week show, she stood backstage surrounded by her collection. 42 pieces representing survivors' stories, dreams reclaimed, lives rebuilt. Miho found her there, studying a gown the color of sunrise. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," Luna smiled. "And excited, and grateful, and about 100 other emotions I can't name." He wrapped his arms around her from behind, and they stood together in comfortable silence. "Do you ever think about that night?" Luna asked. "The rooftop bar? Every day. What would have happened if you hadn't been there? If you'd looked away like everyone else?" Miho was quiet for a moment. "Someone else would have helped eventually." "You don't know that." "No," he admitted. "I don't." Luna turned in his arms, facing him. "You changed my life that night. You gave me a chance to change it myself. You did the hard work. But you saw me." Her voice cracked. "When everyone else looked away, you saw me." Miho kissed her forehead. "I'll always see you. You're dead when we get home." Marcus had screamed those words across a crowded rooftop bar, certain of his power, certain of his control, certain that Luna would always belong to him. He never imagined those words would be the catalyst for everything that came after, that in trying to destroy her, he had lit the match that set her free. Luna smoothed the silk of the sunrise gown, ready for the runway, ready for the world. She wasn't dead. She was just getting started.